What up, everybody out there in podcast land? Thank you for tuning in yet again to another episode of Ken Ross Present. The Yeah, I Said It podcast. We're expressing our full capabilities to the ones in correctional facilities. And I promise you, I swear, every week I say this, we get you a little bit closer. Um, Brainchild of my child, I am the dad half of this operation. Ross Cooper coming to you live and in public, if you will. As always, I am rocking with the best. My co-host, please introduce yourself to the folks.
Yeah, I was good. Everybody's having a good month, year, hour, second, all that good stuff. You watch the other platforms. Please share with your friends, family, pets, bugs on the wall, aliens outside, trash man, mailman, all that good stuff. And if you watch it on YouTube, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Because if you don't, you're gonna get stranded on the island by yourself.
Given what's going on, sometimes solitude is okay. It's totally okay. Like, you know what? Maybe being on an island away from things for a minute might not be the worst thing that can happen.
Because
But
it's
like,
permanent. I say forever.
oh, see, that's okay. That's some old Dante's Inferno ninth level of hell type deal. Anywho, as you can tell, we have a special guest. Our tradition of having amazing Black women with beautiful and amazing, not thought of perspectives continues. We are honored to have her here with us. I am sure the listeners and watchers are going to enjoy. Please introduce yourself to the folks.
Thank you so much for having me on. I am Marybeth Bizzle, and I hail from Strong Island, New York, of course. And again, it's an honor to be able to be here and just offer some perspective. I'm excited about our conversation.
From the world's greatest city, well, yeah, close enough, close enough. All things New York in the building. Absolutely. The glorious Empire State. Okay.
Right.
So this is going to be an interesting piece. We're going to start off here in Texas, North Texas to be specific. Again, about an hour away. We touched on this a couple shows ago. The tragedy that is Karmelo Anthony, not the basketball player, but the young Black man who has. The only thing we know for sure is there was an altercation. A white twin got stabbed and is no longer with us. Karmelo was held initially on a super ridiculously high bail. A Black woman judge reduced said bail. All hell, for lack of a better term, is almost broken loose. There was a protest over the weekend. A bunch of white folks had what they would like to call a protest. No one got hurt. No one died. What a shock. But it got me to thinking because, again, officially, we don't know what has happened. But what I do know what has happened from the result of us not knowing what happened is white folk done lost their ever-loving mind. Now, I want to make it clear. Details have not come out. Everything is confusing. We don't know exactly what has transpired other than that, or that there was a confrontation, knife, stab, we're down one twin. That's what we do know. Okay. White folks have taken that and run with it. And it's this thug must die. And oh my God, the outrage. Da, 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 da. And the judge who reduced the bail has been getting death threats. And I'm like, so hold on. So what about all of the Black folk that were snatched out of jails and lynched? What about that?
No. That happened so long ago. That happened so long ago. Why are you bringing that up?
Exactly.
That happened so long ago.
Right. Wasn't me and my parents. Right. Exactly. So
it's like, how old you are? Go ahead.
Good point. And I'm just like, wow, we don't have details. And it started with, now again, it's been a lot of Black folk posting some things that's interesting as well. All these pictures, and the families come out and say, hey, some of these pictures these folks is posting, that ain't even Karmelo. So it looks like you got white folks who done lost their shit. You got Black folks trying to do things in response to it. And the only thing we officially know, we know two things officially. One, we don't know exactly what happened yet. But two, racial issues and racial tension is alive and well in America. And I'm like,
never gone away. Yeah.
What? Where were you in 2008, sir? Obama. We made it. Yes, we can.
No, we can't. Then we didn't.
It's a telltale sign of ignorance when people try to attribute the success of one Black person, like then try to make or use that to talk about the masses of Black people in this country, in the world, really. And it's just a telltale sign of wanting ignorance, and it pisses me off because what it tells me is you don't even do research. You have not done any type of research on it, but you about to sit here and talk about it like you know, right? So one thing I really don't got too much patience for is just wanting ignorance, and that is what fragility is. People love to live in a delusion, and I'm just someone who's gonna pop that delusion at every time, every opportunity I get it. So yeah, it's just, you could always tell the intellectual level when certain comments like that are made.
It's the amazing lack of knowledge of history, and it becomes very easy to see. Okay, this is why y'all want to ban books. This is why you want to start whitewashing, because one, in order for this scheme to continue to work, you need two things. You need lack of education, and you need a permanent underclass.
You got that already.
And oh boy, it's about to get exacerbated, because think about it. Again, I know a lot of folks who work in the federal government. They've been contracting and wiping out a crap ton of federal jobs. Sucks for them, right? Here's how this is going to cause problems. Here's how this is going to cause problems, though. Federal workers, by design, are highly educated, highly qualified, right? You are now pushing them out of jobs into the private sector. The idea is how capitalism works is you want highly qualified people to keep the machine going. So if people really think all these federal employees going to be sitting at home twiddling their thumbs, no. If you've been at your little job, right, for X amount of time, but you didn't take advantage of getting your degree, getting certifications, getting more qualified, and now the market is flooded with a lot more qualified, a lot more educated people, you might want to be concerned. That means your job ain't safe. So all the people at home cheering, all of those MAGA folks at home cheering, yeah, you guys don't deserve your job. You're lazy. Mm-hmm. Guess who's about to take yours? Funny how that's gonna work. Funny how that's gonna work. But But yeah, circling back to Karmelo, it's we don't have the facts, but all of these white folks just jump right out the window and oh my God, he's a thug. And oh, I've been trolling them. I shouldn't have been, but I've been trolling them because it's just so easy lately. They just all the way mad. How dare he? How come this judge? They just all the way mad. I'm just trolling, trolling, trolling. I
Good.
got some I got some
I
real
love it.
fun memes. I got some real fun memes. They just been mad. I'm like,
The,
dog.
the way, and like you said, I love that you acknowledge the fact that we don't have all the facts, and yet the reaction of America has been very, very, very telling. Not surprising, but telling. And I say all of that to say, you know, white people want to believe that Karmelo is guilty. White people want to believe that he is inherently violent and that he was looking for an altercation, and that's why he sat under a public tent, right? At a school track meeting where he's a student and he was permitted to sit, right? He was told to sit, apparently, to get out of the ring, right? So this is why they want to say that he was sitting there because he was looking for an altercation, and that's why he bought a poker because he was ready to attack and all this stuff. And it really, what it boils down to is the fact that white America does not believe that Black boys have the same right to life or self-defense. They want to see if he's inherently guilty or he was looking for a problem. So they can go ahead and say, well, look at what these thugs do. Look at what, look at what they do. And, what gets me is I feel like it's a lot of people who defended people like George Zimmerman, Kyle, defended him, but they assume they want to believe that this black boy is guilty.
So badly.
So badly. And again, it's because we do not have the same right to life in self-defense as our white counterparts, and people want to use the guise of it being a murder or him just being ready to attack to disguise it. It's just like when Colin Kaepernick decided to take a knee, right? And people kept trying to make the conversation about patriotism, but we all know that the conversation wasn't about patriotism.
Nope.
We all know that, but people disguise their racism as patriotism.
Always.
And love to talk about how he was disrespecting the flag and all these things, as if Black Americans didn't participate in every war that America fought, okay? And came back, fought for democracy over there, and had to come back and still be called nigger, spit on. Some people were lynched in their uniforms, shot down by the Klan in their uniforms, had to be told that they had to leave town by a certain time of night because their skin color was fatal to the health. Like Black people fought in wars for democracy in foreign lands and couldn't get none here. So, I'm sick of the hypocrisy, and it's not going down in front of me. And, I'm going to call it out every time. So they're using this guise of him, being ready for an altercation for their blatant, racially biased thinking.
And the part that keeps jumping out to me, the one thing that does seem to be consistent is him pulling the knife saying, touch me again, see what happens. So in my head, there's two possibilities. Again, if this is exactly what happened. So this may not have anything to do with race. And here's what I mean. I've been a high school boy once. If you push me just on the premise alone of testosterone and okay, whatever, you tell me, yo, touch me and see what happens. Oh, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna find out. The racial component comes in where, again, this is all speculation. The racial component comes in where, why do you feel like as a white boy, you have the authority to tell this Black boy where to be? You don't. And I guess you figure, quite possibly, again, speculation, we'll find out. Quite possibly, you figure, how dare he defend himself? Now, here's where this is going to get real fun. This is going to get real fun. Texas, just like Florida, is a stand your ground state. So if it comes down to, he actually tried to one of that twin, and rest in peace to the twin, because shouldn't have happened. If you approached him and he was simply standing his ground, that, boys and girls, is self-defense, is stand your ground law, is castle doctrine. It's all the things that says if you would have kept your goofy ass over there, this would not.
And I just want to add on by saying, I feel like I didn't study Texas law, so I'm not about to sit here and pretend like I'm an attorney, but I feel like this is actually a classic case of the stand your ground law, which let's go ahead and take it back to the George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin situation. People were told that George Zimmerman got off because of the stand your ground law, and people were talking about how, it was this law, whatever, but this is my thing. During, with the media and all that stuff, the media, again, worked overtime to look through pictures and paint Trayvon Martin as some sort of violent kid criminal who was ready to pop off, when, again, just a quick reminder that George Zimmerman's goofy ass was the one who pursued this 17-year-old kid with a gun. Now, let me go ahead and just point out the fact that everybody was talking about George Zimmerman's right to stand his ground against Trayvon Martin, but nobody ever, I don't recall seeing anybody ever talk about Trayvon Martin's right to stand his ground against an assailant who was coming after him with a gun. So, like, I didn't hear anybody talk about that during that time. And again, this boy was minding his business, walking from the store with a drink and some candy, and it was followed by a 260-pound white dude with a gun. But he had he sued Trayvon, but he had a right before Trayvon to stand his ground. This is what I'm talking about.
Right. So
what makes it worse is, well, one, he wasn't even white. He's like a brown person that's protecting whiteness, which makes it even 10 times worse. But
Florida,
he called the cops. They told him to leave him alone, not pursue. They told him not pursue. Leave it alone. We'll look into it. And what did he do? He said, "No, I'm gonna go anyway." And then that's how it happened. So that's not standing your ground.
Groves talking about he's got the right to protect himself. He's got the right to protect his property and blah, 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 blah. He deceived police and trampled all over Trayvon's right, state right, whatever, to stand his ground. And no, like, again, like, this was very much like the media. And again, we should remember about the media, who's had control of the media since before the war and all that other stuff. It's disgusting the level of ignorance and the level of mental gymnastics that white people will, especially white people, not just white people, but especially white people, will go through to defend their anti-black racism.
But we're seeing it in real time now.
Right.
I've got a few people who are red hats on my Facebook page. I have not unfriended them yet because I just want to see how deep the delusion goes. And the delusion rabbit hole knows no depths. They literally justify anything this moron does. And it's like, how can you be so disconnected? And what really gets me though is, on the one end, they will support this idiot, and the very next thing it'll be a Bible verse. I'm like, dog, how do you how do you even remotely cross those two things? How do you remotely cross?
Was talking about that. I watched Donahue, like his Donahue 1990 show.
That was,
I watch it so much. But he was talking about that same travesty in religion. He was saying how Black people are in this country because so-called Christians who weren't practicing the actual word of Jesus Christ were practicing dirty religion practices. And this is the same thing. People want to bring prayer or put God back in schools, but don't want to help the children eat or I don't know, be able to eat their lunch without having to owe the school or whatever the case is. Like, there's so many different things that are being done to harm people under the guise of God, under the name and shield of God. And I don't like it. And I will call it out every single time because I'm like, no, we're not going to be doing this. And what I will say is this, like, bad things don't just happen because of bad people. Bad things are allowed to happen because good people sit by and do and say nothing. So, and I say all that to say this, like, people are real, like, Ray Charles to a lot of stuff right now. And my favorite is the white people who love to say, I don't see color. I was taught to not see color. But right, that fake kumbaya garbage, right? But you know, they're the ones who do they are actually the main ones who do absolutely nothing with their privilege to speak truth to power and to call for equity and true justice for other groups. So it's just not, it's 2025. What I love is Black people not going for the okie doke. I love seeing there's so many of us making videos and just putting our opinions out there and looking to educate people, not just white people who don't really want the knowledge, but our own too. So I love that. Sorry, I'm rambling.
So you touched on something that's not in our subject list, but I think is pertinent to ask. I forgot to mention this. What we've seen is a lot of us saying, you know what, y'all got it. Should we be more active? Should we be more in the streets, or should we just continue to be like, no, y'all got it. Y'all made this
Absolutely not.
problem. Y'all got it.
Is that a rhetorical question? Or are you asking like real
Oh,
talk?
I'm seriously asking because I don't know the answer, because I feel like we history has shown us, unfortunately, by and large, we can't trust our best interests to the populace at large. The closest we've come would be back in 2020 during the George Floyd riots. We saw, for the first time in my life, I saw a whole bunch of white folks standing side by side, taking the beat downs in the streets with us during the George Floyd protests. Saw a lot of that. Salute to that, to real allies. But right now, I'm seeing a lot of, especially from Black women, which I completely understand because y'all understood the assignment as per usual. It's a lot of, you know what? Y'all got it. We tried to warn y'all. Y'all wanted to vote for the racists. Y'all got it. And it's a lot of us saying, you know what? Let them deal with it. The problem is, can we afford to let them deal with it? For both of you, I don't have the answer. I'm not sure. So I pose the question to the room. You think we should be in the streets more, protesting more, doing a bit more, or we should still continue with, nah, y'all got it.
Should I go first?
Yeah,
I'll go first. My thought process and my personal answer is we absolutely need to stay out of it, because at the end of the day, we have done our part, not just in warning people, we've done our part as citizens in this country. Okay. And we get too much bullshit from everybody, not just white people. Okay. We get bullshit. We get hate from Latinos. We get hate from Asian people. We get hate from, I'm sick of it. You know what I mean? And every time there's a civil rights violation, they look to us to stand on the front lines. But when we talk about the actual trauma of white violence, the actual trauma of white supremacy, how it's plagued Black people, not and it's plagued everybody. And the day we all realize we all have the same oppressor, that's the day we will start winning. But we're not talking about everybody right now. We're talking about Black people. And when we talk about the Black experience here, it's not just white people, but other groups turn their nose up too when we talk about reparations. So no, let me tell you something. My grandmother was born in the 30s. She was out here. She moved to New York from white violence, from domestic terrorism. My grandfather was born in the 20s in Alabama, moved to New York because of white terrorism. My mother was out there with the Panthers, born in the 50s, had to sit through atrocities like the murders of our leaders. My aunt, her older sister, was born the same year that Emmett Till was lynched. We've been fighting. And again, this is the reason, let's just remember something. The reason why Donald Trump was elected is because of white supremacy and how pervasive white supremacy is. And Latinos and Asians wanted to get in close proximity with whiteness. And that's why they decided to vote for a white supremacist sex offender felon over a Black woman. So we have nothing to do with this. In my opinion, we've done all the work throughout history. No, stay in the house.
Okay, you think we should be out in the streets, or we think you need to chill?
Streets what? Because of Agent Orange.
Yeah, bruh, it's just looking at it from a big scale. Look, it's a lot of things governmentally being rolled back, a lot of things not being funded, a lot of things poor people actually need. Like, no nonsense aside. Now, good, because of our history in this country, the quote, the great Kendrick, we gonna be all right. but ultimately somebody needs to mount a resistance. And I'm noticing a lot of us is like, no, y'all got it. And I'm like,
Maybe
don't.
this is what needs to happen, though. Maybe this is what needs to happen for people to understand, like, okay, like you guys voted a certain way, or maybe you chose to do things a certain way politically, or have certain political ideologies because you thought that this group was going to get hurt, or you wanted to gain close proximity with this group and thought this group was going to be you know hurt the worst in the end, or whatever the case is. Even white people thinking like, okay, well, this is the group that's going to be hurt, and it's not, it won't be us. And now white women are finding out the hard way that they're also DEI. And so it, like, to me, it's like, maybe this is what needs to happen. Maybe people need to suffer what they thought the next person was going to suffer, so that we can learn from this. When do we learn? We still ain't learned. As a country, we still have not learned anything.
Scary thought.
And that's why the elastic clause in the Constitution exists, so that we can change with time and evolution. What have we changed?
Our pronouns. Not bad.
Like, honestly, so maybe and it sucks, it really sucks. But maybe it takes that unique suffering. Maybe it takes that unique suffering to get people to, I don't know, open their eyes and realize we're all in this together, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in this together. So when are we going to start acting like it? I'm sick of it. No. Stay your black self in the house.
And I want to rhyme with Kay, what do you think? I'm mm-hmm. I'll let you speak first. Go ahead, Kay. I'm trying to figure out what would be the best idea, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you read what you saw. Yeah, I already said that. Once he got in, this is what you asked for. So this is what you asked for, and then, hey, read what you saw. Chicken's coming home to roost. Enjoy. Welcome to the club.
Okay, I got you. My inherent issue is these chickens come. Okay, so I've adopted a saying since January. They were willing to suffer a little as long as the undesirable suffered a lot. The thing they missed is they're the undesirables, right? The inherent issue is, if you and I discussed many times, Kane, if you undo, we're at a point where if you undo capitalism, you by and large undo society and humanity as you know it, right? I bring up that example to say this. We're at this interesting space where, look, if they out there trying to do this for themselves and fail, all of us is going to feel the shit. I get it. They created the problem. You need to fix it. Every problem in this country can be traced back to white men and white supremacy. All of it. They, of course, need to dismantle it. But we at this very interesting space in history where they doing shit that's unprecedented. If we sit by and leave it to them, can we really afford as Black folk to sit back on the sidelines on this one? And I think the reason I can ask that question is because the answer, as I've told you numerous times, the answer lies with our Jewish brothers and sisters. You know what? If you organize, if you pool your resources and move as a unit, I get it. Black people are not a monolith. Black people are not a monolith. I got it. Maybe we need to be. Because those who function as a monolith don't get hit as hard. Maybe we need to be a little more monolithic, and then I feel a lot better about, we sit this one out. You know why? Because I can borrow money from a Black bank. I can have my house built from Black builders. I can live in a community and be protected by Black police. You see what I'm saying? But we don't have that.
Because we're not Jewish, and we're not white either. Like, stop comparing us to them. We're not them.
I know
they haven't. You don't know that because you keep doing it. Stop it. We are not the
Jewish
same.
people also
They
got
have reparations for what the shit happened to them. They are in control of the majority of every fucking company on the planet, especially the main. So, like, yeah, we don't have that advantage, and we don't look like our oppressors either. So,
and And I just want to
no.
add that we could do stuff like that if we really organized and petitioned for reparations. Jewish people got reparations from the United States Congress, and the Holocaust took place in Germany. Japanese people got reparations from the United States government because of their treatment during World War II, and they were put in internment camps. But the difference between them and us, and this is why I don't think our participation is going to change anything, is because as Black people, our humanity is still being called into question. We're still not actually seen as people. And that's why everybody, every single group, like not even just white people, Latinos, etc., turn their nose up when we talk about reparations or talking about the suffering of Black people in this country. It's because our humanity is still being called into question. And I genuinely feel that white supremacy has been so pervasive and so deep and so conditioning and destructive that in some cultures anti-Black racism is steeped in Black erasure, and in other cultures, it's steeped in the mythology of Black criminal or Black being inherently subhuman. White supremacy is so pervasive that they're painting Jesus white in contradiction to what he's described as in the Bible. This is how deep anti-Black racism runs. And this is why I feel that our participation will not yield the result that we would want to yield. I feel like people need to really go at it by themselves, and we should focus on what we need to do to come together and rally for our own as a people.
Right. And that goes back to what I was trying to say with Can I get your point? No, we do not have the benefit of looking like our oppressor. I totally understand. We also do not have the exact same benefit of controlling financial institutions. When I talk about the similarities between us and our Jewish brothers and sisters, it is more of a methodology. As I said, there's a lot of conversations Black folk need to have about what Black excellence is, holding that standard, so on and so forth. Because the reality situation, if we're going to be honest, sexy red ain't Black excellence. But a lot of us don't want to have that conversation. So I told it like this. The easiest conversation is this. Look, if we're going to continue to buy frivolous things, we're going to buy the rims, we're going to buy the gold chains and all the bullshit, then at least spend your money with somebody that look like you. We can get to the other parts. We can get to how to monopolize certain systems, so on and so forth. But when I talk about, hey, Jewish people have showed us the blueprint, all I'm saying is spend your money with somebody that looks like you, because that will create the wall that we need to be slightly impervious to whatever goes on at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
We already
If we
saw.
have a,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We've already done and saw that back in the civil rights era. Before that,
You're
we saw
absolutely
what
right.
we had all that. That was already the building blocks were set right there. What happened?
Black
They
town
sort of blow that shit off
systematically
the
wiped out. Black towns
exactly.
bombed
That's
by
what
the U.S. government. Black Wall Street destroyed. Black town right now in New York City sits under one of the lakes out there. Like,
we've seen it. We've done it. Like it's
and
not like
that's
it's never been
right.
done. It's been done. They just take
Right.
it apart every fucking because, like she said, which is I always agree with. We're not seen as fully people. We're not respected enough, and that's why I said we can rally together to get the reparations on it. It will never happen.
Right. People like we be forgetting that, people, older Black folks love to tell people to, oh, that's why they don't respect us, because you're sagging your pants or whatever. Bro, people were lynched in dresses,
In suits.
suits, ties. There's nothing that we can do as a people, in my opinion, to really humanize ourselves or make like have our humanity is not recognized by them. And that's the problem. That's why people like Mary Turner in 1919, who was wearing a dress when she reported a white mob lynching her husband who was 8 months pregnant, they got her a whole mob, cut her baby out, stomped the baby, like disgusting things happened to Black people who was minding their business. So I think that I don't think that's gone away because we keep seeing Black people minding their business. There's still videos coming out about Black people minding their business and people, Ahmaud Arbery minding his business, running through a neighborhood, was chased and pursued by white people because he was a suspect. What was suspect about him? You know
Nothing
what I
more
mean?
than right.
Black, like even people we can't even sit out in public spaces without being bothered by Karens and Brads and all of them. And you know where that comes from? That entitlement goes back to right after the Civil War, when freedmen, newly freed slaves, could be stopped at any time by a white citizen and told to show their freedom papers and to show that they belonged in that area and they had a white employer in that area and they were authorized to be on that street or in that building or whatever. That's where the entitlement comes from.
True.
So no, I really don't think that we have enough respect from our counterparts as human beings to actually be able to work together on this. Even the George Floyd moment could have really been a moment. It could have been a movement, actually. That I was actually talking to somebody not that long ago. I said that could have really been like an Emmett Till situation where, Emmett Till's lynching sparked the civil rights movement. That's why Rosa Parks, December of 1955, did not give up her seat because she thought about Emmett Till. That's what started the movement. That could have been the same thing. But how many people continued to fight after the moment died down? Who's out here using their privilege to call for justice and equity for Black people and for all people? Who's doing it? That's an ally. You're not actively doing it. You're not an ally. You're not even a friend, in my opinion.
Bars. I think the inherent issue, and this is an internal conversation. The Black American community, to me, can be divided into three pieces. And this is an internal conversation. So the three chunks are, you're going to have your hood folks. That's just going to be hood folk. It is what it is. It's just going to be hood folks. But then you have the Black bourgeoisie, which to me is just as problematic. As Ken and I have talked about numerous times, I'll keep the short version because in efforts of time. Dr. Umar has mentioned, like, the inherent problem with this successful Negro is they have no interest in revolution. When you got the six-figure salary, the house, the car, blah, 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 you ain't interested in bucking the system. You benefit from the system. So there's that contingent. And then there's folks like us who can see, okay, I don't want to be quote unquote hood. That don't suit me. And I have no desire to drive Benzes and pretty much to a certain degree what I identify. I understand what happens in Palestine is a reflection of things here. So we see the world holistically. Now, if we're doing math, if this is 3 sections, 2 of those sections ain't really helping the cause. It's only 1 section that is. But the problem is we outnumbered. But I say all that to say, like, look, if we just simply smooth the money, because a high level conversation is still can't be had. I still can't convince the comfortable Negro that they need to be uncomfortable, and I can't convince the hood Negro to stop doing hood shit. So I can say, listen, if you go and buy the red and pink weave, just buy it from a sister. If you want to build the 8-bedroom house, but it's only 2 of y'all, then at least have your builders be Black folk and establish a Black neighborhood. So, Ken, when I talk about copying what the Jews have done, that's what I mean. Just move the money. You ain't got to do nothing else. Just move the money so people getting rich look like you. And that doesn't cause waves and ripples with white folks either. There's nothing to come burn down. It's not like Black Wall Street. There's nothing to come burn down. We just spending money amongst ourselves. That's not a threat. That's not a problem for white America. I'm spending my money with you. You spending your money with me. What's the problem there? What is there to come burn down?
We saw that with Black Wall Street. That was not harmful to the white folk.
You don't Ross. I think it's important. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I think it's important to remember that you don't think like a racist white supremacist.
Thank you.
So to you is not a big deal that we're establishing community and things of that nature. But racist white people who love to watch what we do, to make sure that we're down or they're still above us or whatever, like that's a real thing. White people have an obsession with Black people, like especially the ones who are rabbited on racism.
And they can keep it. Look, ultimately, we want to talk about, we're going to get rid of, for lack of easier example, we're going to get rid of the sexy reds and the trash ghetto shit, right? That's a higher level conversation. But for right now, if all we did is say, hey, we just gonna spend money amongst ourselves, the things that white America loves about us, the ignorant bullshit stays. You're still gonna get whatever comes after the sexy red. You still gonna get ignorant niggas doing ignorant shit. You still gonna get all of that. The key difference, though, is our dollars gonna stay a lot longer in our communities.
It won't end with us. And then also, it's like, another problem with our people, I don't know if it's probably done accidentally because, history, is that we treat other races establishments much better than we treat our own. So they don't treat other
people. Back to excellence, though, like what your dad was saying about what is Black excellence, because there are Black people out here who want to spend their money with Black businesses, but some of the quality is not what they would like it to be, and not even the product, but probably just they're doing inquiries like on DMs, getting back to people within a timely manner, speaking politely, caring. You know what I mean? Like, how many times I've been on Instagram and like seen screenshots of DMs from Black people offering services on there, and it's kind of like their attitude is like kind of like, kiss my ass, you need me, I don't need you. And it's like, no, that's wrong. Like, I'm not gonna give you my money just because you're Black if you have a nasty attitude or you don't treat a patron with respect, basic respect. I'm not doing that. So I think it goes back to just like standards. And I also want to go ahead and touch on what you said before about not being able to reach 2/3 of the Black population. I think a big way to change that is by doing what we're doing right now and like making videos, or because people use social media for everything. People use social media for information. People use social media for entertainment. People use social media to feel good. Whatever. I think the key is putting information out there so that everybody is going to be on the internet, so everybody will have access to it. But people who look like us could hear something and it be that spark, what they needed. It be that thing that they needed to be like, you know what, let me go research more about that. You know what I mean? Like putting information out there that they don't know. People love to talk about drugs in the hood, but how many people know about the Iran Contra affair and Ronald Reagan's, like what he had to do with drugs coming into the inner cities? Like, you know what I mean? Like, people need to hear certain things or hear information so that they get hungry enough to do something different, or to govern themselves different, or to just put in place different habits, or learning something different, listening to something different, whatever. I think it's a big part. What we're doing right here is big on that, and how we reach that part of the community that you said we wasn't reaching.
True. Kane, you had a point. What were you gonna say, bro?
One last point, and then we move on. So the black business thing, I understand what you're saying. That is the case that some is just unprofessional at, and just because I'm black, you should support me. But there is a lot of businesses, black businesses, that are respectful and do what they're supposed to do and care, and then still get treated with disrespect. Because we talked about on the show either last year. Remember when it was in a high dining black-owned restaurant and they was twerking?
Oh
They
gosh,
told them not to.
Atlanta restaurant culture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and told them respectfully, like, please get out. We don't do that here. And then everyone got banned. Like, oh, what are we doing? Why we ain't allow that? Because you wouldn't do that at fucking Roof Chris. That's why. So that's why
that's
I'm like, so that's why I'm saying there's certain, like, we don't respect each other enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my issue. Like I said, there is some good establishments and good businesses that practice good stuff, and just like the other counterparts, but still get treated with disrespect because we black, so I should be able to do what I want. Versus you go to another establishment, you on your utmost behavior, and that's also a problem that I have a problem with. But there's also the other what you said too. It's two sides, but it all goes down to respect, which we
yeah.
don't have a
And
whole lot of in our community, which is why it's so easy to divide us and have us on the same bullshit topics that we have. So yeah,
yeah.
got a
Mm-hmm.
lot to change.
Well, you actually gave me the perfect segue. We touched on it in the. I'll skip around a little bit, but China, China has come with receipts. China has pretty much said, "Listen, fam, all of that high-end designer shit that y'all buying, y'all know we making it over here for like $4, right?" And I think that will help reach the black bourgeoisie. Because the
Mm,
black bourgeoisie loves to walk around and designer this, name brand that, and you done paid $5,000 for a belt. You done paid $45,000 for a damn bag. All of this designer shit. And China was like, fam, you know we made that for 22 cents, right?
we know. I mean, to be fair, I think it is a common knowledge that we know that it's made cheap. You paying for the name and just a stunt. So they ain't revealed nothing new. That oh my god, it's only made for 2 cents. Jordan shoes only made what, 50 cents?
Like $2, $3.
Wow, and I'm paying $300-400 for them. It's for the name. You're paying for the name. It's the same frags, all the cheap stuff. You go to Old Navy, it's the same shit. It's just a different day. But
Hold on,
yeah,
hold on. To be fair, I have been bought a couple of actual Ralph Lauren polo shirts. I can tell you this. There is when you run your fingers on that, it ain't Fruit of the Loom, dog. It's not Fruit of the Loom.
it's not worth. It's it's not for the look, bro. It might be, but it's not worth what you pay. Nowhere near. So
But I think what I think is significant about this is the fact that what Ross said, like China's coming with receipts, whereas before it was like all talk and like people would say it or whatever. But now there's like actual receipts out, and what it does, what I feel like this does, is it threatens to undo the myth of exclusivity of these brands, because these brands are so expensive and stuff, not everybody can get them. But now, not only is this undoing the whole idea or the mythology of exclusivity, but it's also shedding light on the profit margins that these people are making, that these CEOs and brand label owners are making, and the profit margins being in the thousands of percent. I think that's going to have a major impact because again, like we've been talking for years, it was talk. Now there's receipts. I saw a video not that long ago of them talking about like a Louis bag or something. How it was like they broke down how it was like $1,400 to make the bag, but what they do is once the bag is done in China, finished being made, it's flown to like France, Italy, whatever, and put a label is put on it, and that is what hikes the sale. And that same $1,400 bag, they're selling it for $38,000.
yeah.
I
So
mean, oh God,
Welcome to
maybe
it
capitalism.
exposes a lot.
Oh, it does, but we all kind of, not all we are. It's capitalism at its best. You buy cheap, sell higher. I mean, you need profit margins. That's how it is. That's how it's always been with capitalism. So it's like, in a way, I'm not shocked by this. I'm sure some people are, but it's not shocking.
I'll put it like this. I think people might be. I don't think people are completely oblivious, but like Marybeth just said, it goes back to exclusivity. I don't think people understood just how cheap this stuff is to me. Like I knew that. I think they understand. Well, hey, it's exclusivity. I can afford a Birkin bag, which is $48,000. I don't think they thought they made that whole damn bag for like $200,
Right.
and you just paid 40,000 for a bag.
Bag,
Like,
not a
no.
car. Like, come on. At some point, common sense gotta be a little bit common. But
Like, bruh, I can get a bag from Target for like free
yeah,
and put just as much stuff in it. But I'm
it's
a guy, and that's the way guys think.
like yeah. Let them clothes and bags give you superpowers or something. Like, no, it's not worth that price. Y'all should know this by now. I would hope so. But will it really change? Probably fucking not. So yeah.
I mean, but it has to. But I can tell you this. Because again, and I'm going to enter our age difference here, actually. You know, you were born when you were born. I can tell you growing up, the more expensive shit you had, the flyer you were.
It's the
I
same now.
Well, hold on. Actually, I can tell you about the B48, it then flipped. Like before, if you went to the thrift store, you got clowned heavy. Now, thrifting is a thing. It then actually flipped to where if you walking around with a Gucci belt for $300, people looking at you like you dumb. So in my lifetime, I've seen it
I don't know
flip,
where. Yeah, you living in a bubble, my boy. What? Nothing has changed.
bruh.
Yes, thrifting has become more popular for a certain demographic, but it's still the same, especially in the hood. It's the same shit.
Okay, because
Materialism
maybe
has
the
not
circle
changed.
I'm in,
It's the
because ain't
same stuff.
nobody we looking at you goofy if you walking around
Oh,
here
you're
with.
not. They looking at you like, oh, you got money.
Right. But I also think it depends on when you were born. Like Ross just said, you know, I'm sure people his age would look at somebody walking around with a $300 belt and be like, that's the dumbest I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I'm 31. If somebody who's a few years younger than me saw that, they'd probably be like, "Oh, you got money to just throw away $300 on a belt? Ooh, what are you doing?" Like to, you know what I mean? Like they would want money to throw away like that. So I think it very much depends on your like what generation you're in.
And who you're around.
Right.
So yeah, like stuff has not changed as much as you think it has.
I mean, and again, maybe to a certain degree, I'm privileged by no stretch of the imagination. Am I rich? It's just I know, the quote Aubrey started from the bottom. Now I'm here, and it's like to quote Aubrey.
Lawbury, paperwork poppy.
Raps Karen. Go ahead.
Right.
But it's like when you come from, and this is just something I've noticed. When you come from the dirt, it usually goes one of two ways. You come from the dirt and you get older and you want all the things. You want all the things you never got. You want to be cool. You want all the things you never got. Or you come from the dirt, you want all the things, then realize, like I did, George costs $3 to make. What do I need George for? And you have a different world view and a different perspective. You understand most of this stuff ain't worth what you're paying for it. Like even Oprah, the op that she is, even Oprah said had a rule of if it's on, yeah, she the ops. We know she the ops now, for real. I'm amazed how many people still worship Oprah. But anywho, um, even she said it, if it's on your ass, it's not worth anything. So if you can wear it, if you can put it on, guess what? It's not worth anything. But that's an Oprah rule. I'm like, wow, that's a hell of a thing of Oprah to say, land baron. But yeah. Sorry, yo. Between Oprah being a land baron and all the houses in all that land in Hawaii burned except yours?
And the rocks. Wow. That's a Kuja boy. That's a Kuja boy. That's a Kuja boy because he do some shady shit too. He part of that club, buddy. But go ahead.
The Rock's not a building.
See, look at this. You attack Oprah, but come for the Rock, man. This is crazy, girl. This is crazy. Like he ain't been doing some weird shit for years. I loved him as a wrestler when I was a kid many moons ago, but damn.
Wait, I'm sorry. Who are you talking about?
The
Dwayne The
Rock.
Rock Johnson.
Oh,
Yep, see?
The
yeah.
Rock. The Rock is not the ops, sir.
Okay.
Opal is the ops. The
Well.
Rock is not the ops.
So what's the difference? Like his house didn't get burned either. He wasn't trying to help either. So what like yeah, I'm trying to raise money for a wife, even though we're all worth billions of dollars, can do it our damn selves.
And The Rock has since apologized for that.
Oh, that's all it takes.
Apology is changed behavior.
Right, that's all right.
Like, what did you actually change? Like, you could apologize, and yeah, PR and stuff is a thing, but the only real like apology is changed behavior. What are you gonna do to remedy the situation?
Well,
Bars.
fortunately, there's been no
Bars.
more disasters in Hawaii to see what he has
They
to
still
do.
going through it. Just say it. But hey, there's been no more disasters, so I don't gotta do that. Man, you know the way you count for your favorites, man. I don't know.
No,
Oh, my God.
we're not doing that. I even have favorites in accountability.
Yeah,
People's face.
True.
that's what I do. I don't know about him though.
See, there you go. There you go. I'm just saying. But where was I at? Okay. So yeah, just kind of hop on the topic board because we kind of touched on it, and this was an interesting debate. I think Ken and I talked about it briefly, but just to have it formally, there's a video floating around between his brother and sister, and they were saying like, blacks have made poverty look cool, and I I'm not necessarily sure we've ever made poverty look cool because don't nobody who love black culture and love basically these white folks that love the most ignorant parts of black culture and hip hop, they don't want to be impoverished. Now it is weird. It is weird because true story, I knew a cat when I went to high school. His parents were dentists. When we went by his house, he had like an entire upstairs apartment to himself. We couldn't figure out for the life of us, why do you want to hang out with us, bro? like, like we don't have our dads around. We relatively poor. Why do you want to hang around with us? So I get it. There's this thing about, hey, poverty, hood looks cool. I just don't think we made it look cool. I think what it was is we just didn't make it. We did a great job of putting the smiley face on. We did a great job of smiling through the pain. Because I don't think at any point did white folks ever want to trade places and be impoverished or go through that. They just heard what we did with the pain and found that part cool. I don't think we made poverty look cool. I think we just didn't make it look as bad as it could have been. But I will toss it to either of you. Who wants to touch on that one? Did we make poverty look cool?
I don't know if it was our doing. I feel like people love black culture. I feel like other races love black culture and take it and try to transform it or put some other shit on it or whatever. Pardon my language. Sorry, my mother is in another room. I'm really trying to watch what I'm saying. But like, I feel like people love black culture, but not black people. And so they will do something or try to imitate culture to seem like they're cooler or whatever, or they want to look cool, or they want to look different than what their culture is, or you know what I mean. Black, I think the idea of it being cool really kind of took off with like with the popularity of hip hop, because hip hop came out of the black struggle. And for what, of course, it originated in the South Bronx, and originally was played at like house parties, and it was DJing and stuff, and then it became rapping, which was communication of your identity and politics. And Chuck D referred to hip hop as the black CNN, about that hip hop was reporting what was actually happening in black neighborhoods. So I think with the popularity of hip hop, I think that other communities, specifically white corporations, just saw the influence it was having and decided to go in and, try, make profits or whatever and selling it everywhere. We're the main actors and main casts, because again, this is our hip hop is largely the story of being Black in America, and I think through that, I think because what we put out was so creative and so good and so undeniable that people took it and ran with it and wanted it, like perpetuated it as like for them it's to stunt, it's to look cool. I feel like when it originated, it was to send a message. Like, let me talk about what happened in my hood today. It wasn't about being cool.
Literally
It
the
was
message.
about,
Literally the
and
message.
of course, some of it, they would get on there and talk about bravado and, I'm the best. But largely, it was people talking about their experiences. And I think that the creativity and the undeniable gem that is hip hop and just hip hop music and rap music, I think that is what made people think the struggle or the Black struggle was cool, or Black or poverty was cool. You know what I mean?
Legit.
I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying completely. Yeah, totally. I get what you're saying, because it's like the thing I've always tried to understand, and I guess because of the privilege, if you want to use that word, of the natural access I have to Blackness and Black culture, is what I always want to ask: what makes the well-off suburban white kid list go by an NWA? Like, you can't relate to this in any manner, any way, shape, or form, because it's directly unlike me listening to Metallica, because I've been a long time Metallica fan. Metallica is just music, right? But rap music specifically called you out. Rap music specifically said "fuck Whitey," and y'all went and ate it up. Like, what do you get, white suburban kid listening to NWA? What do you get, white
Rebellion.
suburban kid listening to Public Enemy? What
Revolution. Wait,
His
hold on.
parents probably.
What's the same reason you listen to Slipknot? What's the same reason you listen to Metallica? It's all, you're not white, but it's still it's a rebellious music.
is it?
It still
Because
gives off a frequency that can get you in that mode.
but the actual words do not violate me. When I listen to Slipknot's Duality, there is nothing in that that says "fuck you." There are literal lines. Fuck the police part two. On the streets, there's two kinds of people: white rich fucks and the ones who get harassed like me. If I'm a 14, 15-year-old teenager in Beverly Hills, how does that speak to me? It literally said white rich fucks and the ones who get harassed like me. You cannot identify with that. Fuck the police. Your pops might be a police officer. You can't identify with that. Help me understand, suburban white boy. What about this music attracts you? It
I,
doesn't logically make sense.
I think it could be one of two things. I think it could either be to gain an understanding, which I'm not sure if that's it. Some of the, I don't even know. Hey man, I can't speak for everybody, but for some people, maybe it's because they know Black people or whatever. They live in Oshkosh somewhere and don't have maybe everyday access to Black people, but they know, Tyron, who goes to this school over here, and he's got cousins from Compton or something, and they talk on Xbox or something, and he told him about something that happened to one of his cousins in Compton in the 1980s, in 1988 or some shit, and he wants to go, NW. Oh, yeah. So that's, maybe they want to learn about it. And the other thing could be that they just like it. Like, because even now, there's some hip hop. I love hip hop and I will always have respect for it. But there's a lot of hip hop now that I can't mess with. And, like not sometimes people will put stuff on like newer hip hop and I'm like, you listen to that? I'm like, do you not hear what they're saying? Do you not hear the words? And she's like, they're like, well, I don't listen to the words.
Right.
I just listen to the beat too. Some people, all they need to know is the chorus.
But I'm just
Police coming straight from the underground. A young got it bad because of Brown. Like maybe all they need to know is that part, and they're fine. And then they'll, whatever. I don't know.
It almost seems like a sadistic.
It's almost like, because you like what you said. How can you relate? Being a 14-year-old white teenager from Beverly Hills, what you know about being black and being messed with by the police in Compton, California?
Nothing.
You know what I mean? So that's why I said. But again, that's why to me it's got to be one of those things, because it's like, how do you actually relate? You don't. So it's like it's almost like it's the same concept for me, where it's like, okay, something is not making sense. That means somewhere there's a lie. When stuff is not adding up, that means someone somewhere is telling a lie. It's like, this is like the same thing. It's not adding up because it doesn't make sense. They can't relate to it, so it's not making sense. So it's got to be something where they're either just jamming to the, you know what I mean, and just ignoring the words, or they're trying to relate or something.
Because I'm like, the white people that I know, and I've been fortunate in this regard. The white people that I know that really are part of the culture, that dig hip hop, that I've met personally, they are allies. They are people who will stand next to me and throw punches at police if it came down to it. You see what I'm saying? So I don't understand the well-off rich white folks who just love hip hop. And I'm like, you do understand they're talking about you, right? Like, there's no metaphor involved. There's no, well, maybe they're not. No. Again, Eazy-E and a few others were very, very specific about talking about you. So it's a weird thing to listen and ingest your own destruction. Now, I'm going to say it because I know someone in the comment section probably mentioned it. Yes, we can also, at some point, if you want to make the parallel, I don't understand black women who enjoy certain sects of hip hop for the very same reason. They are literally calling you bitches and hoes. Why would you ingest that? So I do get there's a slight parallel there. But I'm like,
it's a straight parallel. Go ahead.
But again, I'm fortunate enough to know I know a lot of sisters who, like Marybeth said, don't ingest that at all. There's plenty of hip hop that you can listen to that does not insult your entire being.
And I just want to say I'm guilty of listening to some of the stuff that refers to me as derogatory things. I am not going to sit here and try to justify, but I'm just saying, for me, it's like, yeah, I hear that stuff, but then like that beat, you know what I mean? Or the chorus, or something goes hard, some go hard. And I'm
like, sound like suburban white person. There you go.
Nope. Wait. I was just gonna touch on that. Here's the key difference. When it comes to, and I've seen this in real time. Black women can easily just sidestep and say, okay, you saying this, da, but you're not talking about me. Cool. You talking about some other sister. Okay. You can sidestep. You can Olay with the charging bull. Olay. You can sidestep.
No, stop it. No, you can't sidestep. That's a direct shot, headshot. Like, no, you can't sidestep.
You better walk like that. Remember?
You walk around wearing him like that punk. Yeah, that's a direct shot. You can't sidestep that, my brother.
I could never really. I'm sorry. Like that, I don't have no respect for that type of argument. oh, well, he's not calling me such and such. What? Like,
I've
I'm
literally heard
very
this.
much a
And
protect
that's
black woman
delusion.
type woman.
That's delusion.
I'm very much a protect, like, so it's like, if you insult one of us, to me, you're insulting all of us. And that's why I said I don't have any justification for me listening to it, because I should be offended, you know, but some of this sound good. And in that moment, it's about comfort.
See?
In that moment, it's about my comfort and me jamming. And, you know, if I'm in a gym or something, I got, you know, whatever. It's about that. It's about comfort in that moment. So, you know, that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to just be straight up. I'm not about to sit here and try to justify nothing. It's just because I like it. And in that moment, it's important for me to enjoy it.
You told the truth. There you go. So you don't try to sidestep. Say, you want to talk about me? Or, yes, he was. He sure was. But it's okay. Because you got your helmet on. But, yeah.
I mean, it's okay. Do you think we made poverty look too cool?
Yeah, we did. But, I mean, all the stuff y'all said, you know, I guess the biggest reason for it is hip hop, which is probably the biggest media or form of entertainment there is. So, and you know, black culture is we do dictate what's cool in the world. Not even just this country, in the world.
Hip hop influence worldwide is undeniable.
Yep.
There's people in China walking around with baggy pants and stuff because of hip hop. Backwards baseball caps and ripped jeans and stuff because of hip hop. So like hip hop's influence is undeniable.
It is.
And that's why I think that, yeah, like I feel like what the question or the prompt do black people make poverty look cool? I think it's not us trying to make it look cool, but I think hip hop is what like put it in front of the world, and the world was like, I like, you know, this is dope, this is fresh, whatever, especially if it's over a fat beat, a beat that goes hard. Oh, come on. You know, like you don't even got to be saying a whole lot over a beat that goes hard. You know,
so rappers. Oh, I'm sorry.
There's a reason why advertisements have a lot of black people in it, the so-called cool black people, because they know, they, like you said earlier, and we all know, they love black culture. They just hate us as a people, but they love the culture everywhere, worldwide, even the most racist countries ever. They love the culture. They just don't like the people that comes with it. So yeah, we made it cool probably by accident because we're naturally cool people.
We was again minding our business, and here come other people, the other people, outsiders coming in. And I just want to say for the record that we as black people, I really wish we would gatekeep our culture just a little bit more. I'm tired of vultures. I'm tired of leechers being able to come in and profit off of the culture, gain an audience, and then go and abandon whatever they had over here to go do what they really wanted to do. I'm sick of it. And I wish that we would gatekeep it a little bit more. Beyonce tried to get into country, was snubbed by the CMAs, snubbed or whatever. And like white people gatekeep country music, even though black people invented country music, they gatekeep it. And I think we need to do the same thing with hip hop. That's why the Drakes and the Post Malones and the Machine Gun Kellys are allowed to come in and take and not give nothing back.
See,
why do we keep allowing this?
Eminem is excluded from that list because he actually pays homage and respect to the culture.
Yeah. But why Post Malone catching strays? He ain't problematic.
No, he drifted.
I'm sorry, who are we talking about?
Eminem.
Oh,
good.
I'm not about to sit here and dog Eminem because Eminem has come in and was it his authentic self, stayed authentic.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's still out here, still like you don't see him out here with no cowboy hats on and no stupid goofy-ish. No, hip hop. He's
born in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why he's probably the only one that lacks melanin that I would actually give my respect to. because, and not just because of his lyrical abilities, because he could rap. I'm not going. If I sat here and said he didn't, that would be a lie, in my opinion.
Yeah, it would.
What I'm saying is he came in and never switched up. He's been hip hop the whole time.
Yep.
And he
So
made it very clear that he loves hip hop and that he loves the game of rap. He loves the sport.
And he pays respect.
And that's right. That's why he gets my respect.
Yep. And he speaks up for us too sometimes. So yeah, he uses the purpose. But go ahead.
Say Drake.
Yeah, he's the exact opposite, man. He is not hip hop. I've been saying he wasn't hip hop, and now he's proving it. But you still got the dick riders. But it's all right.
I mean, we can't.
He's not.
He's a curious case. He is the rap equivalent to Tyler Perry in a lot of ways. But yeah,
really, no. This last Karen garbage is real Donald Trump like. I actually said I feel like he might be. If we had to do like a rap equivalent to like Donald Trump, I feel like he'd be the most close.
Okay.
Close related, only because he loves to. Drake is very much a poser. Like Drake is absolutely, he been that, and he loves to pretend like he's this MC and all this other stuff, and he loves rap and loves the culture, and that was proven to be a lie in 2013 when Kendrick did his Control verse and he couldn't take it. Drake couldn't take it and decided to be in his sassy feelings about it instead of actually being on some competition stuff and lyrically trying to go bar for bar with Kendrick. He decided to have an attitude about it. So it's like, and now here we are years later because Drake just kept like doing sneaky, whatever little jabs or whatever. And now, or fast forward to 2024, they had their beef. It was time to put up or shut up. And he couldn't like handle it. And I think Drake is a big issue like in hip hop, honestly. And I don't understand why he was allowed to come in.
Because unlike him, this isn't just black and white. All nonsense aside, Drake is a very interesting case study. I'm not going to go too far off the rails, but Drake has genuinely made some good, honest music. He's played into a lot of stereotypes, unfortunately. But Drake is, for anyone who questions Drake, I challenge everyone to go and listen to Sooner Than Later. That is an amazing song. Dude, go listen to Sooner Than Later.
One, did he write it? Two, probably not.
Yeah, you got
and then two, dog, he's not hip. He's not hip hop. I'm sorry. Like a few good songs is cool.
Okay,
he's not hip hop. He's been a pop star his entire career. He's not MC.
Okay, is he South Bronx, Brownsville, Brooklyn? No, he's not.
He's not hip hop, dog.
Let me tell you why Drake is not hip hop.
You don't do this.
Drake is not hip hop because he doesn't understand the culture, and two, he's an insult to the culture. Drake shouldn't have had no type of black fans after the Pusha T situation when he was exposed in blackface. He shouldn't have no type of fans that look like us, in my opinion. And he did that in 2008. Drake wasn't no child in 2008. He knew exactly what he was doing. And so
he had a long history of doing it. And then like when he was a teenager and how he talked, like, dog, you talk differently when you was a kid. But when you got into hip hop, now you try to adapt everybody else's slang and culture. Like, stop it.
The worst behavior video was like the biggest, cringiest example of him just being a vulture. You traveling to Tennessee to post up in a hood that's not your hood. You're not even from the hood. And you gonna go and get a random black baby and put it on your arm and sit and with chains and backwards caps, because that's hip hop, right? And you going to post up in somebody else's hood like you know what it is to be hood. You've never been in the hood a day in your life, bro. You was raised in an exclusive Canadian neighborhood by your white Jewish mother, and you complained about not getting tuna sandwiches on bagels. You don't know what it's like. You don't know what the culture is like. And so Drake is someone who's had a habit, and he didn't do it just with hip hop. He did it with reggaeton. He did it with the Caribbean scene. He will see a culture that has some sort of buzz or bump that he has no genuine appreciation for. And then he will attach himself to that culture, that music, to gain financially or gain some clout or whatever. That's why Drake is a vulture, and that's why Drake shouldn't have been allowed to be in hip hop in the first place.
So let me ask one question. God, I hate when y'all do this. I hate when I got to be on the other side of the fence. Just one question. Does it suck?
Yes, the new stuff sucks. Yes, it does.
Does what suck?
Because see, here's the problem's going to come in. I get it, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. The question though is, does the music actually suck?
He can be a pop star. He's a great pop star. He's not hip hop. That's what I'm saying. Him as a pop star, I am cool with. That is his lane. Him as an MC and part of the culture, no.
All I'm saying, let me answer that question. Does it suck? Again, that's entirely subjective. If you went through my playlist, you'd see I have about 3 or 4 Drake songs on there, and that's it. I'm not a Drake listener for a few reasons. One of them is because I don't actually like his music. Like I'm sorry, there's a lot of other people
I want both of y'all to go listen to Sooner Than Later, and if you can tell me Sooner Than Later sucks, okay.
I'm not saying Drake makes some good songs.
Whether it sucks or not is literally not like it could be the best thing ever. He still don't belong in the culture. He still shouldn't be allowed to be here.
So shouldn't we be blaming Wayne for this?
Wayne don't know what the hell going on.
You know what? Let me be all the way clear. Let me be all the way honest. I was blaming Wayne back in 2008 because I was like, when Nicki came out, I was like, when Bedrock came out, I was like, this is trash. None of them sound, I was like, nobody on this song is making sense. Like, it's just stupid to me. You know what I mean? So, I'm going to be honest. If you go to, Bayshore High School, I was the sole person who was like Young Money trash. I was the only person in Bayshore High School who was like, nah, Wayne, Drake, and Nicki, they are going to be the beginning of the decline. I said this in 8th grade. I said that in 8th grade, Ross. So, like, amen. Me personally, I'm not a consumer of Young Money, nothing. Okay?
No,
there's only 3 people out there that we all care about. Is the ones we talk about.
So, yeah, like even even Nicki. Like even to this day, I prefer Cardi. I prefer Megan.
Wow.
To me, they bought their bars. They got bars over Nicki, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, I can't agree with that. I can't agree with that. I cannot agree with that.
That's just, bro. I listen to Megan. When I listen to Megan, it's like
Megan.
She be speaking her bars, bro. Bruh, she be having me out here really feeling like that chick. So
I like Cardi. Don't get me wrong, I like Cardi, but if we just gonna say
bar for bar, no, she got killed her own song. Yeah,
some of the stuff she be saying, I'm like, that was cold. Like she wows me more than Nicki wows me. Is what I'm saying.
Go listen to Nicki's Monster Verse, and that's all I need to see.
That's probably the best. That and then when she did that verse on that song, doing it well with Fab. Yeah,
like you out rap Jay.
On Monster.
That's the best verse ever. Like
she had the best verse on Monster. Period.
That proved that she got bars.
Listen to Seeing Green. Seeing Green with her, Wayne, and Aubrey. Oh God, Nicki.
Wayne's still the best out of all 3 of those.
Oh, Seeing Green.
I'm talking about just lyrically.
Oh,
yeah. I take him over Seeing. Yeah.
And I just want to say also, like, I was born in the 90s, but I'm very much, my mother calls me an old soul. Like, Nicki is not impressive to me because I like people like MC Lyte. I like Roxanne Shante. I like the
to me, the conversation when we talk women rappers, the conversation starts, the tree starts with Lyte, that tree extends to Lauren and then extends to Rhapsody and Remy. Like we talking bars, we talking those are
Well,
the names.
remember, Nicki is the newer version of Lil Kim, so yeah.
True,
So
true. And
Lil
she's
Kim's
got
name should be mentioned first. She's part of that.
Ash
I
and Foxy's.
yeah,
Ash and
I'm glad you
Foxy.
said that.
Much
Yeah,
respect. Ash and Foxy.
she's right there after the Lauryn Hill, and then you got Nicki, and then now the Megans and Cardis and all that.
Right. Okay, so legit. But I'm like, if we're gonna hate BBL Drizzy, then we by default have to
I
we
I'm
I
have
can
to
never hate Wayne. He says some stupid shit,
we have to
but
hate
I can't
Wayne.
hate him. I
We
can't
have
hate him.
to hate Wayne.
He got put down the cup, but boy, ain't
it,
nobody a better punchline rapper than him ever.
hey man. Yeah,
Lloyd
like
Banks.
I'm definitely
No,
I was the sole
no,
op of Young Money. Like in 20 from
no.
2008 to like 2011, I was like the only person who was like, yo, turn this garbage off. Like to me, it was trash. I'm not even kidding. I'm
I
not even
understand. Like I said, I understand as an appreciator of love and all things love, Sooner Than Later is one of the most amazing songs written, quite honestly. And again, we don't know if BBL Jersey wrote it or not, but Sooner Than
if
Later
he did,
is
it's
just
probably a reference track because there's a reference track to all his stuff, but whatever.
that's
Yeah.
hilarious. It may be. It may be. But like I said, I challenge anyone to listen to Sooner Than Later and be like, yeah, that was trash.
I was
You
in
can't.
here. I never, like I said, I like this early stuff. And then he
We all
started doing
think.
weird shit, and then I found out he didn't write his shit, and then it's like, all right, I can't really listen to him. But
I mean, like Kendrick said, I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake with the
yeah,
act.
me too. When he started rapping, talking, trying to rap like Wayne, I was like, all right, Joe, what we doing here?
I don't like Drake when he act tough.
I
All right.
know. Hey, when he
And
in
by
his
the way, I
melody
still
bag, he doing his thing.
love that. Euphoria. I
Oh,
like when I work out and stuff, that second beat switch when he goes, "Hey, top dog, who the they think they playing with?" I love that. Woo!
Yeah.
yeah. Oh boy. And unpopular opinion, Euphoria is probably actually worse than They're Not Like Us. Like if you listen to that bar for
Euphoria,
bar,
I
oh,
think, yeah, it's the best like bars diss track out of the whole thing.
yeah, it is. Like I know everyone's also on They're Not Like Us, but if you listen to Euphoria, that hurt a lot more.
Meet the
That was a
Grams is
lot.
what ended it. It's just not like us. It's just he just dancing on his grave.
Well, Not Like Us had the biggest impact because people kept saying that Drake was winning because his stuff is more playable. So then when Kendrick said, "Oh, let me stop playing with y'all and drop a banger,"
A
then
banger diss
and
track that
that's
got
why I took Drake out because Drake had the advantage of the beat being better or whatever. That's what people
Mhm.
were saying. Is more listenable. Like people can listen to Drake's diss easier and swallow it a little bit
Oh,
better,
I
and that's
agree.
why I won. So then when Not Like Us was released, and you that beat was undeniable as soon as it dropped.
It's my
And you know, unless you're made of steel,
everybody was
when it
dancing.
drops, you're pretty much nodding your head. You know what I mean?
I
And
started
so
crip
that's
walking when I
why
first heard.
it was a big, huge thing because the one critique with Kendrick's disses to Drake was, "Oh, this beat is trash," or blah 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 blah
And
blah.
Euphoria, them beats
yeah,
was
Euphoria
hard.
was it was.
If you go on YouTube and you look at reactors reacting to Kendrick stuff, all across
Yeah.
the board, there's something being said about the beat or the lack of beat or whatever. And then when Not Like Us came, all of that was done. That
Oh,
whole narrative was shut down. And I think it's because Kendrick is he was listening to the streets and he
yeah.
heard people saying it. And he was like, you know what, let me go ahead and stop playing.
Oh, I know.
And it just finished it.
Yeah, I agree that that was the finish. I'm saying, like lyrically wise, he tore that man and his family apart. Meet the Grabs.
Yeah,
And
it was.
then like after he tore them apart, then he was like, all right, now I'm gonna beat you. Like I said, I'll beat you with your own game, make a hit on your own name.
I'm going to turn some of your fans into mine now. Like I'm gonna actually show them
I
how
mean, I stand by the fact I respect it, but we would have got a much better battle if Cole hadn't
No,
dropped
he
out.
wasn't.
But
Cole is not that dude when it comes to, like
bro,
he's that
no,
dude when it
no.
comes to
son,
rapping, but he is not a confrontational dude. We've seen this already. He's not.
So then
We got a
stop
taste of
claiming
it.
you're the best.
That's what I'm saying.
Stop claiming you're
He
the
talks
best.
out of both sides of his mouth. He likes to play the fence, and
And
that's his
it's
problem.
so I'm a
I'm a
Cole.
Cole fan too. I try to
I'm
put
a
him on.
Cole fan. Cole was my guy who I was like,
Hey.
okay, if the three of them start beefing, it's I'm at Team
Well,
Cole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Cole.
And then I even loved when he did 7-minute drill. You know, I'm like, this is a perfect warning shot. This is good. He's showing his ability in this. All this
Exactly.
other stuff, and for him to then be like,
I apologize.
yeah, apologize, because this is my whole thing. You could have respect for somebody and still think you're the best.
Introduce.
Right. So it was just super disappointing to like at first I was like, okay, maybe I could kind of respect it, but that was my bias. That was my cold bias. But like me being who I am, I'm like, that was weak, bro. You should have just, if you was gonna say anything that night, you should have just been like, you know, I got mad respect for K-Dot, but it's on. It's war. It's whatever. You know what I mean? Because you're up here claiming, yeah, y'all just did what was that song he just did with Drake when he was doing or whatever? You was just talking about feeling like Muhammad Ali, and you apologizing?
Yes.
Get out of my face.
That's my beat. And he's still
Where's
kind of talking
Diane?
to him.
Where's your mother? Because she needs to take you in the house or something. Because you're pissing me off.
No, you see, I respect Cole 100% for that.
Crazy.
Because it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't gonna be a friendly fade. It was gonna get bloody, and we saw how bloody it got.
But his 7-minute drill didn't really get disrespectful.
Exactly.
That was a warning. They did not. The only way it would have gotten disrespectful is if they went personal and started talking about each other's family and stuff. And I really don't think Cole would have done that, because Cole doesn't have to do that because he's got lyrical ability. Unlike Drake, who had to stoop so low because he couldn't actually battle bar for bar with Kendrick. That's why he started talking. That's why Kendrick had to warn him, don't talk about the family, Crody. That's what he said. And he decided to do it anyway, because there was nothing else he could talk about. But Cole, who actually got bars, who actually has the ability to see Kendrick, like that, like it could have really been on some friendly fire stuff.
Yeah.
And he decided to wimp out. And that's why I'm disappointed in Jermaine Lamar Cole to this day.
Jermaine Lamar Cole.
I understand it. Like, listen, and I agree with the brothers on the Joe Budden pod. I think it was a phone call. I think Kendrick might have made a phone call. Was like, listen, fam, this about to get ugly. So this ain't gonna be a little tap, little sparring session. This is a heavyweight title match.
No, with him and Drake, they clearly hate each other. Like that, we knew it was personal. With him, with Cole and Kendrick, you tell they had some type of real relationship where it would have been a friendly fade. It would been like, all right, yeah.
And even if a phone call was made talking about, you know, oh, you know, I'm about to do some, you know, whatever Drake to blah, blah, blah. If I'm J. Cole and I really believe I'm the best, my response is going to be like, do what you got to do. I understand it's real beef with y'all. I respect you, but I'm the best. And I'm going to go ahead and stand on that. If you could beat me lyrically, that's one thing. But you ain't beat me lyrically yet.
Well, you kind of did, because you quit.
But no, at that time.
Yeah.
At that time, like if that phone call that Ross is talking about did happen, that was the time for you to be a man and stand on what you just told the world, which is that out of the big three, you Muhammad Ali, who is what? The greatest of all time, right? So that was your chance to be a man and stand on what you just told the entire world.
The thing is, he been talking that for years on features.
Okay, and then when it came time to stand on it, you didn't stand on it, and that's why you're not the greatest of all time. That's why you can never claim that again.
Nope. It's done.
Unless you go right for the throne. You gotta for J. Cole, bro. For J. Cole to ever be even brought up in the conversation about being the greatest of all time ever again, he would have to successfully battle a worthy opponent. Not no garbage. You can't even battle Drizzy now. You gotta come at Kendrick. You gotta come at the best. You got to come out who's running the game. And Kendrick is that guy right now.
So
So
we're just gonna ignore the song he made after the fact, where he pretty much just okay. I cannot remember the name of
You
it,
talking
but
about the song where he's talking this shit? See, I could have won. He doing that. I could have. Bro, you had your chance.
right,
It was
right,
right
right.
there.
You had
Do
your
it.
chance.
We was
You had your
waiting.
chance. We're
I
not
mean,
interested, J. Cole. We're
hands
not
down.
interested in the
so
reason why you got scared. We're not interested. We're interested in seeing you battle. That's what we want to see. We want to see you battle.
Because you got battle bars when you want to feature, but when it's
Right.
time to do
So
it,
then what's the problem?
you ain't want to do it.
like he said, I'd have lost more than a battle. I'd have lost a brother.
No, Kendrick
Like
don't care. Like, bro, that little
Kendrick, let me
5 foot
tell you
dude
why that
forever
wouldn't have
don't
been
care.
let me tell you why that wouldn't have been the case. Why he wouldn't have lost Kendrick as a brother. Kendrick said in 2013, he called everybody out and said, I got love for y'all, but this is competition.
He called him by his government name, that's all.
So what are we talking about?
He called him by his government name.
I forgot about Control.
That's how you know he wouldn't care.
So Kendrick understands the battle of rap. He understands that it's a battle. He understands that it's competition. And he loves the competition. That's why he did that in 2013. So what are we talking about?
Jeez.
That's crazy. You counted for Cole because I had to convince you that he was nice.
No, because my problem was I didn't go for the Cole is boring thing early on. I'm just like, I didn't get the hype because my introduction to J. Cole was him doing a freaking duet with Miguel. Like, okay.
Cole was, you gotta listen to his mixtape. Cole was that
dude. Right. So I get it. And now I understand, now Bonsai Locks Cole, the Cole that went in the hole and came back with the crazy Freeman hair.
No pun intended.
Yeah, that be official. Just early Waves J. Cole, Durag and the Waves J. Cole.
Nice too.
Yawn.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You didn't like Friday Night Lights? Nope. Love that. Whatever, Ross. Whatever. That's all I got to say to you is whatever. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Okay. Let me see.
Go ahead.
I was looking, and so this is interesting. I was doing a little homework while we were all talking, looking at it. So the last thing on our list here, gotta give up to California. They did it again. There is a proposal, and I'm taking this off of, let me try to get it right and credit it properly. This is coming from Newsweek, actually. But California, a proposed California ballot initiative informally named after Luigi Mangione, the people's champ. The alleged assassin of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson aims to bar insurers from delaying or denying doctor-recommended procedures or medications. The filer, retired attorney Paul Eisner, told Newsweek in a phone call that he used Mangione's name to bring attention for it, which it definitely has done. He added that too often carriers don't want to do things and said the initiative is aimed at changing that and making sure that carriers are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah, that's going to be huge. It basically is a matter of, look, these healthcare providers have to do whatever needs to be done, what is recommended by a doctor, and it can't be a case of we're going to deny it because you can't pay for it. We don't think it should be done. If it comes from a doctor, legit doctor, then it needs to get done. So if you need lap band surgery, if you need whatever, they're going to have to do it, or you can sue them. I would say, and maybe this is just a human in me, it's a lot better than having somebody walk up from behind and end you, because healthcare companies make billions of dollars. So why are you denying so many health claims? But California, it's most of the time, majority of the time, they are ahead of the curve. This, I think, to me, is one of those times. And if you're going to use the name and essentially evoke fear, this is like the bat signal to criminals. Like, it's Luigi bill. Basically, you might want to get this procedure done, or get Luigi.
You're gonna get Mario all the buzz, but yeah, hey, it's all good.
I mean, I think it's a good thing.
Be free anyway. It's all right.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it should be free anyway, so we shouldn't even have this. But
You can't okay. You cannot kill people in cold blood in the street, sir.
What does that have to do with the bill? I understand the bill was named for him to capture attention,
I'm
but
saying
what
free
does it have to
market.
do with the actual bill?
Nothing. It
The
is
bill
a
itself, I think, is brilliant. And we need more bills like that because corporate greed is so disgusting and pervasive that 1/3 of all GoFundMe pages or campaigns are dedicated to medical bills.
really
Yes. A
Jesus.
third of GoFundMe campaigns are dedicated to medical bills. Why? Because corporate greed.
Big pharma. And that's why I said,
And that's why we need more bills like this.
I'm
Wow.
saying, the hell with the bills. Just make healthcare free. There you go. So it's all about.
So yeah, you can look that up right now on Google. A third of GoFundMe campaigns are for medical bills.
That makes sense.
Whoa, whoa. You said that makes sense?
I mean, yeah. I mean, dog. I mean,
It does make sense when you hear about all the horror stories of people's insurance dropping them.
that or some you get don't have insurance because think about make it personal about your situation. How much that cost?
Jesus.
Imagine if you had to pay that back by yourself, no insurance.
Yeah. So for a little help for the listeners who might have forgot, I'm a stroke survivor. And what blew my mind is when the bill came in, because how my insurance works is it shows you here's what you were charged, here's what you actually owe. And when I looked at what I was charged,
When it was a man.
$500,000.
What?
$500,000.
Ah,
I spent 2 weeks. I spent 2 weeks in ICU, 2 weeks in rehab, a month in the hospital totally. For everything that was done, the tab came in at somewhere around $500,000, literally.
and that's why the GoFundMe. There you go.
Yeah, because like I said, if I didn't have insurance, it'd have been
Yeah,
This is what I honestly feel. I feel like
$500,000.
corporate America and America, the American government keep forgetting. Like clearly people don't study history because the crazier and crazier shit gets, the more desperate people get, the more action people are going to take that results in bad things happening to people. So there's going to be more Luigis and more
like
like that as things continue to become more and more difficult. And it's like, do we not remember when France offed their monarch? Like, things like this could happen still, like, even though it's a little bit more far-fetched now.
Is
and
it?
this is where
He
we
almost
enter
got
our
clapped
Dark
before he
Knight
got
Rises
in.
reference. This
Supposedly.
is where
Like,
Dark Knight Rises comes
17
in.
year was 1797, I think, and Louis the 16th was off, and so was his wife, okay, because things in France had gotten so bad. And at the end, and Versailles, where the king and queen lived, they were very much living lavishly, while 75% of the state of the country starved to death.
Mhm.
And what did they do? The people rallied and went to Versailles and took them out of the palace, bought them out of their palace, brought them to Paris, put them on trial, found them guilty, and beheaded them.
Guillotine.
And that's
So, like, this is what I'm saying is we need to be paying attention. Like, the government and corporate America keep making things more and more difficult for the average everyday person. It's not going to work out well for them in the end. I don't think.
hubris. It is the common denominator in the fall of most empires, most things. If you look, you will find instances of hubris that cause the eventual fall. And right now, the asshat in charge, Agent Orange, is full of hubris. So
Yeah,
we
but
we it
they're
tends to
also
never end well that way.
but they're also prepared for that. So
Well, the biggest problem is the same way I said that you can take the American Black community and put in the thirds. The American population in general, we got to remember the sad reality of it is There are people right now, and I've seen it, that are still justifying this goofball's actions.
Majority of people are.
A lot of people.
Yeah, most people aren't even angry, even though it's directly affecting them, and they're begging him to help. Like, oh, Donald Trump, oh, you did this, but help me out. I got fired. You took away my income. What's this? I mean,
and you got to remember something I've said, and I've told you this since you were a kid. Nothing sells itself like America. America's great. America's great. America's like the thing that gets me the most is people still wholeheartedly buy into this false idea of what America is.
This man fostered a trade war. This man set up a trade war to foster inside trading. He's disgusting. Totally. And he's not for American people, but people will go to the lengths and do mental gymnastics and all of that to justify.
They Simone Biles with the mental gymnastics. They Simone Biles with the mental gymnastics around here.
And I think there's more. I think there's a lot of them. I think there's a lot of people like that. And I think that's another reason why it's not for us to be out there fighting. We knew what he was. That's why 92% of us didn't vote for him. But we're like, why? It's not. First of all, people don't believe us at all. Black victimhood, black people are not believed in spaces, and when we just experience white violence or discrimination or racism, whatever, we're not believed. So this is just another example of that, and that's why I said this is not our fight. We have been fighting. We have been talking. We have been trying to convince and stuff. And I'm tired of us always having to do that. So since they know what they're doing and this is what they want, let them go ahead and deal with it. That's really, I really feel like I'm so, you know what I mean? Like I done seen people that look like me beaten to death in those marches of the 60s and the 50s. Dogs chewing on them, biting in the groins and the breasts of Black women and chewing up babies and all that stuff. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. It's not our fight. We didn't create the mess. We are again a victim in this mess. And we pulled our weight and voted the way people should have voted. And now this is the result. Again, why? Because Black people are not believed. You know how many people, when my mother would talk about Project 2025, you know how many people told her she didn't know what she was talking about and didn't believe her and all that other stuff? We're not believed. So why would they want our help? They need our help, but get the hell out of here. No. Stay in the house.
On that note, I think we'll put a pin in it because this has been awesome. I will run back the recap because I don't think we stuck to the script, but that's totally cool. What do I have here? So we touched on, okay, off top. Listen, this situation with Karmelo is still very indicative of the problems that this country faces. I've said a long time ago, we have a class problem disguised as a race problem, but no, we legit still have a race problem in this country. And when we finally can get past that, then we can have the class conversation as Chairman Fred tried to have with us years ago before he was unceremoniously murdered.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Chairman Fred Hampton.
Right.
So when we get past this racial nonsense, we'll see what Chairman Fred was saying. We have that conversation. But
even Dr. Martin Luther King, because he knew that poverty was so pervasive in America and started to speak openly about it. And then President Lyndon B. Johnson, like when Dr. King spoke openly about the war in Vietnam and why we shouldn't be over there. Meanwhile, President Lyndon B. Johnson was taking money and resources from the problems here in America, putting it towards the war. When Dr. King openly spoke about his disdain for the war and why we shouldn't be there, we know the rest. So that he was taken out.
So there's that.
And not just by a small town white supremacist either.
That was government hit.
So yeah, so I just want to say, yeah, for like Fred Hampton, and also like Dr. Martin Luther King. Lastly, I just want to say, and I don't know if you guys knew this, but did you know that Mamie Till used to babysit Fred Hampton?
No, I did not know.
Emmett Till's mother used to babysit Fred Hampton.
Wow.
How that works.
Also,
Wow.
I just want to say that, this is completely off topic. I'm tired of white people talking about, I can't be racist. My sister has black children. My sister's married to a black man. I have I need white people to know, any white people who are going to watch this, I need you to know that just because you screw a black person or someone of a different race, that doesn't make you impervious to racism. Slave owners also love them some black vagina, even had some black kids, didn't make them any less racist. And white rape of black women was so pervasive that we've got people today that are related you wouldn't even believe. Berry Gordy and President Jimmy Carter are descendants of the same slave master. They're cousins. So I just want to say, I'm tired of the argument. Oh, I have a black husband. I can't be racist. That means absolutely nothing. Get educated, and then please correct your flawed thinking.
Yeah. Difference between lust and love. So, yeah. Difference between lust and love, man.
Absolutely. All right. So to that end, that's all I got. This is awesome. This was fun. Kane, your final word, sir.
What did we talk about?
Yeah, because we just went. So yeah.
China. Shout out. Well, I can't really say China. Shout out China because y'all racist too. But I love y'all, little bro in the U.S. though. I will respect that. Because we can go band for band. We can't go band for band with China. We will lose. Louisiana Healthcare Act. Just make healthcare free. Shouldn't cost $500,000 for some services that are life threatening. I mean, we're all citizens of the world, but that's just me. Did we make poverty look cool? Yes. Hip hop probably is the main perpetrator of that, but I mean, black culture just makes everything look cool. So, and it's considered one of the most
better or worse
marginalized groups in this country and part of the world, and that's what we know the most. So yeah, by effect, we made it look popular, made it look cool. Even though we don't own it. What else?
Yeah, that's about. We didn't touch on Homeland Security girl getting her stuff stolen.
Oh yeah, your boy Shannon Sharp. It's not looking good, my guy. We'll probably talk about that next week. But oh my God, I'm seeing more and more stuff come out here. It's not looking good. Even if he didn't do the thing that he's being accused of, he still looks like a weirdo. But all right.
But we knew Shannon Sharp was kind of weird after the last leaked audio. But yeah,
that's just stuff that happens.
Man, you don't accidentally.
That's between grown folks. This might not be between grown folks. That's where the weirdness comes in. So yeah, because we probably know the age of this girl. So yeah, it's kind of getting bad.
Stay away from the snow bunnies, but brothers gonna learn.
Dr. Umar's not a real doctor. That's what they say. He should have learned his lesson, but I guess not. Now he about to pay $100 million or whatever.
We'll see. And am I the only person here that saw Sinners? I know you haven't seen it yet. Marybeth, have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. That could be a whole show by itself. Okay. We can't wait to talk about that.
Shout out to Ryan Coogler, man.
Bruh.
Makes original great black content, man.
And it could be so many different ways to go if he decides to go there. But oh my gosh, it's gonna be awesome. But to that end, I got nothing else. Any final thoughts? Any final words from anyone before we put a pin on this one?
Yeah. I just encourage anybody who watches this, who looks like us on this podcast, if you're looking to do better or find out what you can do to help move our people forward, I encourage you to just educate yourself. Like, think of something that you may have heard on this podcast. Go do some research or whatever. Go do some research and learn about self. Go learn about who you are. Go learn about our people and go learn the truths, because if we rely on the education that's given in the public space, especially we know now that they're trying their best to do away with certain history, go and look up things. Go and do research and educate yourselves so that when you see shit, you can call it out immediately and not have to think twice. Don't let them bully you into playing the race card. Don't let them bully you into shutting up. Go educate yourself. And if you are somebody who's an ally, I encourage you to use your privilege to speak truth to power, because otherwise you're not really an ally. If you're somebody who's quiet right now, when madness is happening, you're not an ally.
You're an accomplice.
And that's my final thought.
Well, on behalf of myself, my co-host, our amazing, awesome, freaking guest. Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. As always, you are always welcome back. If you want to come on back, by all means, just say the word. We will gladly have you back on. This was fun and awesome. Can't wait to get the reactions to it. But on behalf of all of us in the Yeah I Said It podcast, peace.
Yeah.